On Friday night, the Bronx erupted. It was the perfect setup. The Yankees opened the series against the Red Sox with an avalanche of runs, a true massacre at the top of the first inning. Walker Buehler, freshly back on the mound, barely had time to breathe when Anthony Volpe launched a two-run bomb into right field. The scoreboard already showed an improbable 7-0 lead for the Yankees. It was a kind of start every fan dreams of, until a tense moment froze the stadium. With the bases loaded and celebration still in the air, Buehler threw an 88.8 miles per hour changeup straight into Volpe's left elbow. The impact was brutal. Volpe winced, grimaced, and walked to first base visibly uncomfortable. Manager Aaron Boone and the training staff immediately rushed to check on him. And although the young shortstop stayed in the game for the moment, something in the atmosphere shifted. Volpe isn't just another name on the roster. He represents the generational shift in the Bronx. A homegrown kid, disciplined, fast, smart, who's been establishing himself as a defensive cornerstone and an increasingly dangerous presence at the plate. When a player like that feels pain, the whole stadium feels it too. He returned to the field with his teammates, as if to say, "I'm okay." But by the end of the third inning, the decision came down. Volpe would be pulled from the game before the fourth inning began. Oswald Peraza, always waiting in the wings, took over at shortstop. And just like that, optimism turned into uncertainty. In the locker room, the tests brought some relief. No fracture, no serious injury. X-rays and CT scans came back negative. It was just a bruise on his left elbow. But in a 162-game season, even a minor physical issue can be the start of a performance dip or an extended absence. And even though Volpe said he felt good enough to play on Saturday, Boone chose caution. He has strength, but there's still considerable swelling, the manager said. The decision was about precaution, not panic. At this point, it's worth remembering the Yankees' recent history. How many promising seasons have been derailed by poorly managed injuries? How many times has the roster had to improvise in the middle of a storm? And more importantly, with the playoff race tightening, can this team afford to lose Volpe, even for a few games? Meanwhile, Peraza is trying to seize his opportunity. He came in strong, played solid defense, and watched Volpe return late in the game as a pinch runner in the ninth inning. There he was again at shortstop, as if he had never left. But the final score didn't have a happy ending. The Yankees, despite the huge early lead, lost 10-7. And the shadow of Volpe's injury still seemed to hang over the stadium. It's impossible not to think about the impact of his absence. Volpe has been essential at the top of the lineup. His defense has anchored the infield, and his growth as a leader on the field becomes more evident each week. If the Yankees are forced to live with him in the medical room longer than they'd like, it could alter the entire dynamic of the team. The big question now is strategic. Will the Yankees trust Peraza as Volpe's immediate backup, or will they explore the market for a more solid option in case Volpe can't maintain his form upon returning? With some names in limbo across the league, rumors are already starting to swirl. And you, fan, what do you think? Is reinforcing the infield now an overreaction, or a smart move to avoid surprises in October? Would you stick with Volpe even through pain, or play it safe? While the Yankees adjust the internal pieces they already have available, MLB corridors are heating up with rumors and trade projections. One name that has been making the rounds behind the scenes in the Bronx is Tampa Bay Rays second baseman Brandon Lowe. The mere mention of his name is a clear sign that the team is not only eyeing reinforcements, but potentially considering a tactical restructuring. Brandon Lowe is no ordinary player. An all-star in 2019, he has proven he can deliver above-average offensive production, especially with his left-handed swing, which many believe is tailor-made for the short right field porch at Yankee Stadium. This season, he's hitting .251 with 11 home runs, 31 RBIs, and a .725 OPS. Solid numbers, though not without their flaws. Defensively, Lowe presents challenges and is limited in terms of positional flexibility. He plays exclusively at second base. He no longer takes the outfield, hasn't been tested at third base in 2025, and has served as designated hitter only twice this year. That positional limitation creates an immediate dilemma. DJ LeMahieu just returned from injury and resumed his role at second base, with Aaron Boone making it clear he's a central part of the plan. Jazz Chisholm Jr., on the other hand, is reluctantly adapting to third base after recovering from an oblique injury. Adding Lowe, therefore, would create a logjam that complicates roster management and places Boone in a tough spot. Either bench LeMahieu or try to force Lowe into a new role, a risky move in the thick of a playoff race. Even more concerning is Lowe's track record at Yankee Stadium, which contradict the idea that he'd benefit from the park's dimensions. In 39 games in the Bronx, he has a batting average of just .175, with 8 home runs and a .655 OPS. That's a worrisome performance, especially for a team like the Yankees, which demands immediate results and consistency from its acquisitions, particularly at home. Despite his potential, betting on Lowe would require a leap of faith that could prove costly, and the cost isn't just on the field. Lowe turns 31 in July and carries a club option worth $11.5 million per season through 2026. For a franchise already heavily invested in its payroll, with stars like Judge, Cole, Rizzo, and Stanton, bringing in Lowe might not be a sound financial decision. It's not just about making space on the field. The investment has to be justified by production and a direct impact on the scoreboard, something that, so far, remains uncertain. Another name that has resurfaced in the Bronx is Mike Tauchman, a fan favorite since his breakout 2019 season, when he hit 13 home runs and posted an impressive 3.9 BWAR in fewer than 300 plate appearances. Now 33 and playing for Chicago White Sox, one of the league's worst teams with an 18-41 record. Tauchman is showing he still has something left. In 53 appearances this season, he's batting .372 with 2 home runs, for doubles, a triple, and a staggering 1.132 OPS. His most recent outing, with 2 hits including a home run against the Orioles, reignited interest from playoff hopeful teams. But again, the issue is fit, with Giancarlo Stanton locked into the designated hitter role, and Jason Dominguez returning to the outfield. The Yankees roster is crowded. Tauchman would only have a role if another injury occurs, particularly if Dominguez's thumb issue worsens. Otherwise, keeping 5 active outfielders is not something Boone seems willing to do, especially with the infield rotation demanding attention. The ideal scenario, then, hinges on versatility, the type of player who can replace the injured Oswaldo Cabrera. Someone capable of covering both the infield and outfield, giving Boone tactical flexibility, without disrupting the rotation. Neither Lowe nor Tauchman offers that. Both are specialists. And in today's MLB, specialization without mobility is a dangerous luxury, particularly when every win counts in one of baseball's most competitive divisions. With that, the Yankees' stance in the market becomes clearer, yet more fragile. They want to strengthen, but not at the expense of balance. They seek production, but not at the cost of harmony. They're looking for impact, but not at the price of tactical flexibility. For that reason, despite the persistent rumors and the frequent mention of names like Lowe and Tauchman, the Yankees may be preparing to surprise, perhaps targeting a different type of player, or simply waiting for the market to unfold before striking with surgical precision. For now, the front office watches, and the Bronx, as always, waits anxiously for the next move.